Hey everybody, it's Mitch, and welcome to my next video. Today we've got another Dungeons & Dragons Prestige Class video. And today is all about the Loredelver from the Races of Destiny. Boom. So, now let's talk about the Loredelver. So, to begin with, let's start with what does it take to become a Loredelver? Well, first off, you have to be an Illumian, which is a very interesting race. It's probably the most. It's one of the more complicated races out there, which is why I haven't done the video on them yet. I'll get to that here in a bit. But yes, they are a little more complicated than other races. So that's also in the Races of Destiny. Next up, it requires a bunch of skills. So it requires Decipher Script 10 ranks, Disable Device 5 ranks, Knowledge Arcana 10 ranks, Knowledge Engineering 5 ranks. So that's a decent number of skills that you're going to need. That's a little bit of a trick. And you also need to be able to cast at least 1/3 level arcane spell from the Divination School. Okay, that's not too bad. And Trap Finding class feature. So, well, therefore, you're really going to need at least 1 level of Rogue. That's really the only way to get that Trap Finding class feature. There's probably a few others, but that's one of the main ones. So you'll want a level of Rogue or something. Then you're going to want like 5 levels of Wizard in order to get the ability to cast 5th level arcane spells from the Divine School. From the Divination School. Which Divination is nice in the fact that it's the one school that, if you want to specialize in it, which if you're going this route you probably want to do, this one only requires you to ban 1 school of magic, so that's kind of good. It's largely because Divination is considered to be the weakest school of magic, which is questionable whether that's true or not, but the rules say it is, so yeah. Anyways, now what do these guys get? Well, first off, they get spellcasting. They get up their spellcasting level every single level except for first. So if you're actually going to go with this build, you're probably going to be behind 2 levels. 1 for the level of Rogue you took, and 1 for your first level of Loredelver. Which isn't great, but since we're talking about Illumians, the thing about Illumians is they love to multiclass. So the fact that you have to take that level of Rogue, not the worst, and the lack of the spellcasting at first level is okay. It's not terrible. There's a large number of the classes that have that, so it's not the worst. These guys also get a D6 for hit dice, which is really good for a spellcaster, which these guys primarily are. Let's see. They have a bad base attack bonus, typical for a spellcaster. Bad fortitude save, again, typical for a spellcaster. But they have a good reflex and will save, which is great. So, especially with some of the abilities they get. So that's awesome. They also get a number of special abilities, like Bardic Knowledge, which will stack with Bardic Knowledge that you get from being a Bard. So your levels of Bard and Loredelver will stack for the purposes of Bardic Knowledge. It doesn't specifically say that in the book, at least not with those words, but the words that they say actually amount to that. So it says this is its own thing, but your levels of Bard stack with it's complicated. The way they word it is really weird, but it does amount to your levels of Bard stack with this for determining your Bardic Knowledge. You also get something called Magical Insight, which basically just gives you a +5 insight on spellcraft to figure out what school of magic a spell is. So when someone casts a spell, you can figure out what school of magic pretty easily. Let's see. Detect magic. At second level you can just cast Detect magic at will. So you can cast. It's just a first level spell, but you'll be able to cast it as many times as you want without any restrictions. So it's a free spell that you can cast whenever you want, however often you want. It still takes time though, so you're still going to have to spend that standard action to cast the spell. So not super useful in combat, but when you're out of combat, you can abuse it all you want. Just be like, I cast Detect Magic here and there and there and there and there. Like, you can if you want. Your team might get annoyed, but you totally can do that. Let's see. You also get evasion and later improved evasion. So that's cool. And similar levels to that that you get them for Rogue. Therefore, I wouldn't put too many levels of Rogue. Just the one is really all you need. You also get spontaneous casting. So there's certain spells that you will be able to cast spontaneously. Let's see. At 4th level, you'll be able to cast Knock spontaneously. So you can, just like any other spontaneous casting, you can ditch a 2nd level spell to cast Knock, which is a 2nd level spell. 7th level, you can do the 4th level for Arcane Eye. 10th level, you can lose 6th level for Greater Dispel Magic. That's actually a really good spell. Actually, these are all really good spells, so that's actually kind of handy. You also get something called Fearless, which Fearless makes it so that at 5th level, you gain immunity to magical fear effects. Cool. Sorry, it's hard to memorize all this crap. Anyways, so then there's also Arcane Sight that they get, which that one's actually really cool. Basically, you can use you can use Arcane Sight as the spell at will. That's actually kind of cool. You get a bunch of stuff at will. So now instead of just detect magic at will, you're like Arcane Sight, like all the time. Yeah, that's actually a little different. You just have the effects of Arcane Sight, but you're not actually casting it. It's weird. You can basically turn the effects of Arcane Sight on and off. Then you get Improved Evasion, like I said, and you get Greater Arcane Sight, just like the spell. You get that at 9th level. So there's some cool stuff with this. Is it the greatest class I've ever seen? No. There's definitely more interesting stuff. Like, I don't know, what was it, the Lore Master from the from the Dungeon Master's Guide, which is weird that they would include this class when there's already something very similar in the Dungeon Master's Guide. But they did come up with this class. It is Illumian only. It actually wouldn't be a terrible mix with the Lore Master if you want Wizard and just added an extra level of Rogue in order to do both of them. The abilities really do work well together. A lot of the Lore Masters, they get a lot of stuff it's similar in nature but very different from the Lore Master. So actually kind of cool in that regard. But yeah, I'd say Wizard 5, Rogue 1, maybe grab some stuff from Lore Master as well. Combine the two together, probably a good mix. Can't really think too much else of this class. It's interesting for sure. It's the real use for this is if you want to make like a know-it-all type character, which the downside is they don't have knowledge. They don't have all the knowledges as class skills, which is kind of unfortunate because that is something that Wizards and I believe Lore Masters as well have. Just all the knowledges as class skills. So a little bit of a problem, but at the same time not so bad. Trust me, just maxing out all the knowledge skills can actually be incredibly useful. I have done it in the past and just annoyed the crap out of my DM with it. Yeah, it turns out if you have all the knowledges maxed out as well as like bardic knowledge and crap, then you're basically in a position where anytime there's anything that needs to be known, it takes all the mystery out of the game. It's just like, DM's throwing something at me. I don't know what it is. Let's roll a relevant knowledge check to see if I know what's up. Yeah, I got some crazy high number. Do I know what's up? Probably. So, yeah, you can really take a lot of the mystery out of the game real fast with that. I've actually played a character, it wasn't a Loredelver, but who did something similar with that. So, but yeah, anyways, Loredelvers, they can be useful. They definitely have their perks. They seem like they're slightly roguish. I don't know. They seem alright. They seem like a kind of okay class. Don't see them as super useful, but as I said, they seem alright. But anyways, let me know what you think of the video. Just leave a comment down below if there's anything you have to add. Maybe there's something I missed. I don't know. Also, if you want, please feel free to like the video. That definitely helps me out. Feel free to share it with your friends. If you really like the video, that would help me out a ton. On top of that, if you haven't already, please feel free to subscribe. You can click that down up there. Check out my new latest videos right there. And as always, I'm Mitch. I'll be seeing you.